Morning, my name's David, and if you watch this channel regularly, you know I'm a bit of a goal setter. And so I like to set myself a target to achieve, and that obviously spurs on my training, my competitiveness to get towards that goal. So typically it's in January when I do these targets. It's just a way of spurring myself on, rebooting my fitness if you like, trying to get myself back into a pattern of being healthy after all the excess of Christmas and New Year. I've done running, jogging, walking. I did one year, I think a couple of years ago, I did a 5k or 10k, depending on which machine you run on any of the Concept 2 machines. So the bike erg, the rower and the ski. So one of the good side effects of doing this sort of challenges is not only that it reboots your fitness, is if you're picking a particular piece of equipment, for instance, like the year I did the Concept 2 machines, doing a 5k or 10k every day on a machine, just due to repetition, eventually you get better at it. Obviously, if you do a bit of research and you tweak yourself, watch a lot of YouTube videos like mine on how to improve your technique, eventually your technique does improve just through repetition and improvements. And so that's a good side effect of doing it. Well, this year was no different, and this year my target was to do 5k a day. I didn't set myself a specific target of running every day, but I did end up running nearly every single day, just to do 5k a day, get myself out, get myself moving, and try and fit it into my daily routine. So I'm not a runner. I can run, the same as everyone can, but my technique isn't that good. My pace has never been that fast. This isn't really built for running fast, but I have done half marathons in the past, a couple of times, but that was many moons ago.
That really old guy?
Yeah.
I did quite a bit of running last year, training to do high rocks. See my videos up here. So I've done some running training, but I haven't actually gone out and actually physically done anything like this before, where I run every single day, 5k for 30 days. So Parkrun, I've done plenty of parkruns in the past. My local parkrun down in Exmouth on the beach, I've done that probably about 30 times now maybe. My parkrun PB is 24 minutes and 30. So that was set sort of middle of last year when I was doing quite a lot of high rocks running training. So if you're not aware of Parkrun, I'll put a link down below in the description, and basically it's a free 5k organised, semi-organised event that runs every Saturday, and they're all over the place, so there's bound to be one fairly near to yourself, and it's a great way to get yourself into doing some running. Now I also do CrossFit as well, and every year the CrossFit Open, a sort of massive global online organised competition comes up for CrossFit, and I didn't want to miss out on that this year, and so I couldn't stop my CrossFit training to do the running, so I had to do both running alongside each other. So that gave me the added hurdle of trying to shoehorn in every single day a 5k run alongside the 5 days a week I actually do a CrossFit class session as well, or CrossFit training of some shape, form or description. Now I don't know about you, but I'm not a good runner in the morning. I'm not a good doing anything in the morning, to be fair. Once I've had my coffee...
Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee!
And settled into things, and my old body has actually stopped aching and telling me I shouldn't be doing any fitness.
Every morning, I wake up in pain.
It takes a while for my body to mobilise in the morning. I normally do workouts in the late afternoon, early evening, and that's when my body feels more geared up towards it. I think because I've had the whole day then to stretch and mobilise and move around and loosen up.
My elbows.
Did that hurt?
No, it feels wonderful.
That's when it feels best to exercise for me. So that was a challenge in itself, getting up early in the morning, getting out and doing a run. And also, obviously, doing this here in the UK in January. It's either cold, it's wet, it's raining, and it's pitch black. So psychologically, it makes it quite difficult to do as well. So it's a mental test as well as a physical test. The only advantage, obviously, is doing a run every day. Basically, I was doing a monostructural, a sort of metabolic workout first thing in the morning, and that's contributing towards my engine to make me better at cardio for the CrossFit Open. So I kept that in mind on every morning I was out there in the dark. So obviously one of the big considerations to go out and do something like this is injury. I'm not getting any younger. Obviously doing it alongside CrossFit as well, I'm doing a hell of a lot of strain on my body. I was very aware of that throughout the whole month. I was doing a lot of rehab, a lot of mobility, a lot of stretching beforehand, before the running, and just basically doing slower paced runs. So most of the time, most of the runs I was doing were either sort of intervals where I'm either jogging or walking quite slow and then running, or zone 2, sort of very, very low tempo, easy on the body type runs as well. By doing all of this stretching and mobilisation and taking it easy on the runs, I was hopeful then that I could get through the whole month without a big injury or anything like that.
Oh, I'm going to die. I'm so tired. Everything hurts. Running is impossible.
I already had some lightweight running trainers which I bought last year for doing high rocks training with, so that was sorted straight away, but then I just had to keep myself fueled. Obviously doing CrossFit and running every single day meant that I was burning a hell of a lot of calories, and I had to get that back in.
I like to see a man of advancing years throwing caution to the wind. It's inspiring in a way.
And that doesn't mean just sat there eating loads of donuts, cakes and biscuits. It's actually getting all the right proteins and vitamins and nutrition to get my body fueled and ready to go out to do those runs every day. Now, my motivation for doing this was literally just to reboot myself every year. I've obviously not come from this from a background of doing no exercise whatsoever, so if you were considering doing a challenge similar to this, obviously bear that in mind as you scale into the exercise to make sure that you're not going to get yourself injured. Take it easy initially maybe and work yourself into doing longer runs, maybe even not just a 5k a day run. Start off with a 5k walk at the beginning of the month and then slowly work yourself up, sort of like a couch to 5k type affair. Whatever your motivation for doing it, just remember that if you're going out there and you're going out and doing 5k every single day, that's better than probably the majority of the population are doing who are sat at home watching the television on the settee.
Move, sloth!
I didn't do this challenge to lose weight or improve my performance in any particular shape or form, but just for you guys, I did track some stats, weights and heights and measurements and things like that, and speeds and pace, just so that you can see if you do this challenge whether it would make any sort of difference to those sort of things from the beginning to the end. As I said, I didn't really have a target in mind by doing this challenge, but you might be completely different. So if you do have something, it's good to get something that's going to motivate you through the course of the whole month. Believe me, you're going to need it. And so whatever you do choose, make sure it's something that's achievable for a start. You don't want to be setting yourself a target of doing a 15-minute 5k run if you've never run before. So make sure it's achievable, and then you can track it all the way through the month. One of the big bonuses of doing running is it's so accessible. I mean, really anyone can do running as long as you've got a pair of trainers. It doesn't have to be a special running pair of trainers. I just had some from last year. But as long as you've got a pair of trainers, pair of shorts, t-shirt, basically that's all you need, so you can get out there and get on the road. Whether you're overweight, tall, slim, short, doesn't really make any difference. As long as you've got the ability to put one foot in front of the other, outside on the road, and move forward, then you'll be able to achieve this challenge. So, on day one, off I went and got a load of measurements and statistics together for you guys at the start of the challenge. As you can see, I jumped on my Garmin app, took some screenshots of my heart rate variability, HRV, and my VO2 max. I also grabbed, while I was there, my fitness age according to Garmin, and at the end of the video I'm going to do the same again so you can see if any changes took place as a result of doing this 5k a day challenge. So my fitness age before I started the challenge was 52.5, which is quite good. I'll take that considering I'm 55, and my VO2 max on my app was 41. That apparently means I'm in the top 30% for my age and gender, so I'll take that. So let's talk now about the actual running itself. If you've never done any running before, or you're not the sort of person who does any sort of exercise normally, then obviously you're going to have to take this easy to start with. You're not going to get out there and put a 5k PB in on your first day. You're going to start slow, gradually, and work your way up.
Go, 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 go!
You can do it, Eddie.
Dick, 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 dick. Ah!
If, however, you've done exercise in the past, you're not averse to running normally, then obviously you can start in a much faster pace. It's also important to listen to your body. If you're feeling sore, tired, scale it back somewhere, like jogging and walking, or even just walk. It's better to do this and come back stronger than push yourself too hard and then end up with an injury. Try differing routes every day, different terrains. Try running uphill, downhill, some steps, or use the beach, go through the woods. Whatever you can do to give your brain something else to focus on. Finally, don't forget the whole idea of this is to go out and have fun. Running can be a great way to get out there, clear your mind and get some fresh air. great for your mental health. I tried to utilise the time as best as I could. We're all busy people nowadays, and so while I was out running every day, I was trying to listen to podcasts. I'm trying to revise in my real job. I'm trying to do an exam, and so part of that daily process was I would listen to a podcast or an audible book that was related to my revision that I was having to do. When you consider if you're running maybe about a 30-minute pace every day, so that's 30 minutes of running times 30 days, that's 900 minutes of time that you could utilise. So you might be the sort of person who wants to do that, the same as me, and make use of that. You might just want to go out and drift away while you're out running and just enjoy the scenery. Whatever you choose, it's your time. So I started every day with some mobility. So before I even went outside and did any running, I got my coffee down my throat first thing in the morning to wake me up and initialise my body and reboot it, and then I get out and do some mobility and stretching. Alongside that mobility and stretching, I was doing also GoWood. If you watch my video up here on GoWood, brilliant application to easily make you mobilise and stretch, especially the specific muscle groups you're going to use when you're running. I also used a Power Dot, which is like a gadget you can strap onto different parts of your body, in this case my legs, and it basically works a bit like a TENS machine that a woman who's pregnant might use to relieve pain, and basically it pulses the muscles using electrical impulses, and so it apparently is good for the muscles, and I can vouch for its effectiveness. And I've also got, up there on the shelf behind me, a percussion gun as well, a therapy gun, which was great as well to alleviate these big sore quads that were killing me every night. However, even with this mobility and relaxation and rehab routine I was doing alongside the running, I still felt twinges every now and again. After the first couple of days of doing CrossFit and running, I started to get twinges on my Achilles. Well, I woke up this morning and my Achilles were in a right state. We had a CrossFit session last night, which was loads and loads of clean and jerks. I think it started at 10 reps, then it went 8, 6, 4, and then 6, 8, 10 back up again with the weight changing as it went through. So I did that, and then there was cowls in between that because it was an E3 mom. And then the second part of the workout was 9 burpees and 9 thrusters. So yeah, after the run yesterday, that last night, and then waking up this morning, I thought I'm going to give my legs a little bit of a respite this morning. Another thing you're going to have to do is adapt and overcome. You might set yourself a plan where you're going to do this run, this run, this run, this run. Be aware, weather conditions, real life situations, other things that suddenly occur, you might have to change that plan. So if it does, then find a way around it. One day I was supposed to be doing a run in the morning, couldn't get it. I was having to do something else in the morning, a family thing. So because I couldn't get out and do the run, that left me, I was at work all day, straight after work, went straight into CrossFit. So that meant I had to do CrossFit immediately followed by a run. Pitch black outside, didn't really fancy going outside. So what I did to adapt, I jumped on the assault runner. That wasn't a good idea. If you've ever run an assault runner, one of those curved treadmills which doesn't have a motorized system, basically you pull it along by your feet action. It's actually quite a different type of running. You feel it much more in your calves and your Achilles. And obviously when I've had problems in the Achilles in the past, I felt quite, the next day I woke up in the morning, it could have been the accumulation of doing CrossFit straight away followed by running, but my Achilles and my calves were really tight, and so I had to have a very slow pace run the next day because of it. Well, that's the first run done, and yeah, it was 7.5, 8 degrees, quite cold, drizzly, and yeah, it's a challenge. Only 3 degrees this morning, so it's going to be a slightly colder run. That's today's run done, and that felt so much better than yesterday. Crazy difference. main difference, obviously, I did it last night, was the first run. Today it's about 9:30 in the morning now, 10 o'clock in the morning now, and so obviously it's nice to run in the daylight. I can see what I'm doing, I can see the beach. There's all that mental health thing of being out in the sun, even though it is sunny, but it's cold, but it didn't really feel like that when you were running. And I did a massive stretch before I left this morning, so I did a big go wad stretch for about 20 minutes. All of my calves, my Achilles, my quads, all the things I normally suffer with. So that made a massive difference. And when I got there, I also had another stretch as well, just like a warm-up running stretch. So that was it. You might be wondering why I get in a car every day and drive somewhere. Well, that's because where I live is actually on the brow of a hill. So no matter where I go or what I do, I have to run down a hill and then up a hill. And I'd much rather run on the flat at the moment because I've got to do my CrossFit session later on as well. So I don't have to do hill runs at the moment. So I might do that later on once I've got into the swing of things. And also I live on an estate. So I'd be running out of an estate and it's not quite as scenic as running down the beach. So yep, that was day 2 done, and so on to tomorrow. Well, this morning run's going to be fun. It's a lot warmer, it's 10.5 degrees. But that's the view I've got this morning. So it's not going to be nice. I feel alright this morning. My legs aren't aching or anything like that, but I didn't have time for much of a warm-up. I had to drop off my daughter at school before I come down and have my run, because the only way I can shoehorn in getting this run in is if I run first thing in the morning before work, because I have CrossFit later on in the afternoon. So I tend to find that because I'm older, my body's a bit more loose by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's the best time for me to work out normally. Anyway, I'm going to get out, and it won't be a fast run this morning. It's just going to be a really slow, steady run. And I'm finding the one thing that's keeping me going is I'm listening to podcasts while I'm doing a run. And there's a brilliant podcast that I've heard about before but never listened to, and it's called Chasing Excellence, and it's got Ben Bergeron in it. And there's loads of good tidbits for training and mentality for working out, which is great when you've got this to go into. Even my watch thinks I've been overtraining and says I should rest today. Brilliant weather for ducks. So it's a crazy 14 degrees at 12 minutes past 8 in the morning. So it's going to be a nice warm run today. There doesn't seem to be much wind at the moment. Nothing's blowing around or anything. And I've had a nice 10-minute go wad stretch this morning, and I've been heating my glutes on the car seats. So all ready to go. Well, that was hard going this morning. I got sort of lower back pain. I felt really heavy running. And I don't know, it's the accumulative effect of doing these runs every day and then CrossFit on top of that as well. The workouts at CrossFit over the last couple of days have been quite leg heavy, so I assume that's having some bearing on it. I think I've got to start eating more. I think I need to fuel up a bit better, because obviously I'm burning lots and lots of calories 2 workouts a day, and I haven't really stepped up my eating too much. I've been eating a bit more, but not much. So I'm going to have to look at that with a fine tooth comb, I think, and start looking into it about how I can better fuel myself with more carbs and more energy. Well, but I cracked it anyway. Day 4 done. See you tomorrow. Okay, so just going out for my run today. One thing I've discovered is it's better to go for a run first thing in the morning than it is later in the day, because you really have to force yourself to do it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen today, because I got up, chilled out, and then went to do a CrossFit session at my box, and so it's now 20 past 4, sunset almost, and I've still got to get the time in, so off I go. Yesterday I didn't have time in the morning either. I was going over a massive work day the day before, so what I did instead is I did a CrossFit session I did a CrossFit class at my gym, and then after I finished that I went and did a 5k on the assault runner. For those who've never run a long distance or not a long distance 5k, but a longish distance on an assault runner, it's hard work. It's harder work than it is going out on the road, I think. And you can't just like lose yourself in the run. You have to actually be on the ball all the time, adjusting your pace, checking your height on the curve, so to speak, and it makes you concentrate far more on technique, and you can't really relax. But I did it. I got my 5k in, so every day's been alright so far. And so yeah, it's just started raining, so that's what I've got to look forward to. Brilliant. And got to get the miles in, or get the kilometers in, so see you after the run. Good morning, everybody. Friday the 13th. Unlucky or lucky for me. It's a bit warmer, the weather. It's 8 degrees. There's no rain. One of the first days, I think I've only had 2, maybe 3 out of 13 days so far where it hasn't been hammering down rain in the morning. But the weather's nice this morning. It's not very warm. It doesn't feel very warm. There's a very cold wind, and I think the next few days are going to be even more interesting for running, because I think it's going to go down to 1 or 2 degrees in the morning, maybe even snow. We never know. So that'll be dead interesting. I tried to do some intervals yesterday. Didn't quite program my Garmin watch properly, so I'll try and do that today. And now I know what to look for on the watch, I might actually be all right and can do the proper sessions. I'm just doing 400 meters, 400 meters fast pace, 400 meter walk, really slow jog. That breaks the run up, makes it a bit easier to handle mentally in the mornings, and that's it. So wish me luck. Get to see the sunrise in the morning though. Day 16 and 5 degrees in the morning this morning, and a bitterly cold wind, so it's going to be fun. Well, good morning. Day 16. It's this morning, it's a balmy 4.5 degrees. I thought it was going to be absolutely freezing, but it was actually quite nice. I think it's because the wind's dropped a bit, so I wasn't being sandblasted or having a blizzard blowing at me or anything like that. Although that might be later in the week. I went out and did the run today, and I did intervals, so just to break up the runs a bit. I've started doing a few runs once or twice a week now in intervals. So I did 300 meters fast pace, my 5k pace, and 300 meters at sort of a jog or a fast walk. And I find that breaks it up because it's more of a mental game this than a physical one, I believe. Well, for me anyway. I don't like training in the morning, so it's a way of building mental resilience to get up every morning and go for a run. But yeah, that's day 16 all done and ticked off, and past the halfway point now, so it's all downhill from here. Well, considering it's only 2 degrees out there, that was a really nice run. Pushed a little tiny bit more than I normally might, just for it wasn't like a zone 2, it was more like a grade above that maybe. I think I finished just over 28 minutes, 28 and a quarter, something like that, which isn't fast for me, but faster than I've been doing over the last few weeks. Yeah, really nice, really enjoyed it, and as you can see, sea's lovely and calm, nice to do today. So on to the next day. did I improve? Let's consider each item from the very beginning that I measured and checked to see if over the course of a month of running every day alongside CrossFit, if anything did actually change. Obviously, these might vary for you because I was doing CrossFit alongside these, so there'll be some sort of impact from doing that every day as well. So, you know, my fitness levels and things like that would have gone up a lot more maybe than if I'd just been doing 5k a day. So my VO2 max did creep up and went up to 43, so a bit of an improvement there from the beginning of the challenge to the end. My fitness age went down by half a year, so I gained half a year of life according to this from my challenge. So for the whole course of the month, I never actually did a fast-paced 5k. Reason being, I just didn't want to be. By the time I'd done CrossFit and the run every day, there was no energy left to be able to go out there and do PB runs. The first couple of weeks of the training, I wasn't varying the tempo or things enough. I was basically just going out and doing a run, and then you'll see yourself after a couple of weeks of doing it, you do get bored. You want some sort of new ideas, new systems and tempos to do. So I then started doing interval training, so running at a faster pace, followed by a shorter pace for individual durations. I did a couple of hill runs and up and down hills. I did tempo zone 2 type runs and even walk and runs, so just to vary it if nothing else. As I said at the beginning, didn't really have any particular aims in mind here for the challenge on pace or time or anything or duration. Just really wanted to get out, and it's good for the mental health to get out there even when you don't think it is, when you're absolutely soaking wet running in the dark, but believe me, it is. Having looked at some of the videos of my earlier runs and the videos at the end, and just from a sort of mental idea, I do think my techniques improved slightly. I was trying to concentrate more on doing the pulls and pulling my feet back up and leaning forward and doing my tempo and cadence and things like that. So yeah, that general amount of time and effort put into it must have improved my technique, hopefully. Mental health. Now, obviously quite hard to measure this one. There's no meter I can put on my brain and say, yeah, I feel better or I didn't before. But I do feel like the getting out in the morning, the actual mental achievement of getting up, getting out in the fresh air, getting some time outside, getting a little bit of vitamin D, regardless of how much rain's alongside that, actually did make me feel better for the course of the month. Now the biggie, weight. Didn't really go into this again to lose weight. Obviously, we all get a bit fluffy over Christmas, so I knew I was a bit heavier than I normally am anyway. But actually, as you can see, anyway, I started the challenge on the January 1st. My weight was 95.1 kilograms, and at the end it was 94.9. So really an insignificant change. But then again, was that because I was doing so much training in January that some of that fat was turning to muscle? And who knows, I don't know. But yeah, not really a measurable difference in my weight. So I've got a pretty packed calendar now for 2023. I've already got the CrossFit Open. That's already been done and dusted and out the way. If you don't know what the CrossFit Open is, check out my video up top. It's basically an online, massive global CrossFit competition. So I've done that. That's over the last 3 weeks, and I've finished that now, and that's all done and dusted. I'll be doing a video about that. So if you're not already subscribed, get on there now to be able to see that video when it comes out. And I've also got the Rainhills Trials. That's a competition, I think it's in Manchester, is where the actual live event is, but you have to submit a lot of seeding workouts beforehand online. I think I've got 6, 7, 8 workouts I've got to do. They're all different things, testing your cardio, testing your lifting abilities, your gymnastics abilities and things like that. And then once you've submitted all those, they all go to an online qualifier, and then they put you into a tier based on the results. So it's a great way of putting you in you're not going to be competing against people who are far, far better than you, hopefully, when you get there. I've also enlisted to do a small local CrossFit competition at my local affiliate, CrossFit Pi. And that's coming up towards the end of this month. And that's a competition called Apollo, built by Atlas. I'll include a link down below in the description of what that is. And if you're interested, then come down and join in. Once that's out of the way, early May, mid-May I think it is, I've got the Rainhills Trials live competition up in Manchester. So I've got to go out there, and I think that's a weekend competition. And then just 2 weeks after that, I'm back down to Cornwall, down to Redruth, to an annual sports event called One and All Games. I've got a video on that, check that out above. That's a really good competition, brilliant weekend, fun. It's more like a festival feel. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to get your name down for that, get down there and take part. There's a local competition that's held on the beach down here called the Commando Beach Assault. I think it's on the 10th of June this year. I might put my name down for that. It depends on what my body's feeling like after all of this working out. And then finally, towards the end of the year, I think it's September, October time, I'm still considering doing a mixed doubles with my daughter for High Rocks. If you know what High Rocks is, I've got a video up here about that. Hopefully my poor aged body's going to be okay with all of this working out. I do have a slight niggle at the moment. So I've got a slight rotator cuff issue with my left shoulder. I've been seeing a physio about it, and it's been excellent. I'm probably going to be doing a video on that in the future. If you do have any questions on physio or wear and tear on your body that I might be able to get Adam to answer for you, the physio, just leave a comment down below and I'll ask him, and I'll include that in the video in the future. And if you haven't already done so, then please subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications of any new videos I bring out. Just follow the process down below. You know the score. Like this video as well, and leave us a comment on any new videos you think I should be doing in the future, and then I can try and see if I can do them for you. I'll see you in the next video.